The last speaker is Councillor Kelly as the chair of the committee. Councillor Kelly.
Oh. Good morning, Speaker.
Good morning.
The first thing, I want to preface my remarks by thanking Councillor Walker and the other Councillor Stintz and Jenkins for doing, I think, an outstanding job of shepherding the Yonge-Eglinton official plan through the trials and tribulations of the last few years. I think they've done a great job, and I'm very pleased to be in a position to thank them on behalf of this council. I'm going to speak to you this morning from two perspectives. One is as the chair of the Policy and Growth Management Committee. This city, Canada's largest, most dynamic, most important city, governs its planning and growth through 5 committees. 4 of them are community councils, and 1 of them is the Planning and Growth Management Committee. Now, the tendency is for the community councils to look at issues from the perspective of their communities. It's up to the Planning and Growth Management Committee, Speaker, to look at planning issues from a citywide perspective and from a perspective that's future-oriented. And it's from those two perspectives, Madam Speaker, that I shall be supporting the recommendations as they are before us today. For a city to work, the plans of all 5 committees have to flow together. There has to be a pattern. There has to be an overall meaning to it. And I think the recommendations as presented do exactly that. They reinforce the city perspective on this issue. They also give us the ability to exercise our options somewhere down the line in the future, because as we all know, futures change. They're not predictable. And I'd like to make sure that the options to be exercised by this forum are as wide and as generous and as effective as we can make them. The second perspective I have, Madam Speaker, is that of a real estate broker, one of my former occupations. There has been, almost on every occasion that this council has met, voices raised urging us to unlock the value of the lands that we own. And it's curious at times when push comes to shove to see that those voices, when it comes down to specific issues, are either stilled, or muted, or in one way or another have been compromised. I would urge you, if you want to, on behalf of the residents that we all collectively represent, and to which we have a collective fiduciary duty, and others have mentioned this before me, then I think you have to commit to the fullest possible and best use of the lands in question. Now, this doesn't mean that you disregard the interests of the community, but it does mean that interests change over time, and that this council always has to be in a position to maximize the economic interests of those people and of the city in general. I would hope that you would understand one of the basic principles of negotiations, because we're positioning this land to be sold and developed. Part of it by us, but most of it by private developers. And the one thing you don't do in negotiations is to announce your position first. You don't do that. This really, in the end, is a timing issue.
Move an extension. All in favor, opposed, carried.
The question you have to ask yourself is, when do you want to pull the trigger? Now? No, now? Or at a later date when all the information that you need to make the right decision will be before you then, and not now. So I urge you to support the recommendations as they've been proposed.